Hey guys, Dr. J here. In the previous episode, we completed World 1-1, defeated the Phalanx Demon and had our physical body restored. We then returned to the Nexus, where we met the Maiden in Black, who told us to talk with the Monumental. The Monumental explained to us that, because of his greed, King Allant had aroused the Old One, who spread the fog and demons throughout the world. Our mission now is to find and kill all the demons, so we may lure the Old One into trying to turn us into his servant. When he tries to do that, we'll have a chance to send him back to his slumber. The Monumental also released the seal on the other 4 Arkstones, so we can travel to all 5 worlds. We're free to choose where to start. I'll give you a brief description for each of them. Let's start with the one we've already used. The Arkstone of the Small King will transport us back to Boletaria. We can continue exploring the castle if we go there. The second one is the Arkstone of the Burrow King. If we choose to go there, we can delve deep into the mines and eventually reach an old foe. The Crisblade is located in World 2-1. And as a mage, it will be a huge help for us if we decide to go there. The third Arkstone is the Tower of Latria. It is a nightmarish place with many traps and horrors, but there are also many treasures there. If we manage to complete World 3-1, we'll gain access to both a very useful vendor as well as arguably the most powerful spell in the game, Soul Ray. The Arkstone of the Shadow Man is a place constantly battered by storms, where flying beasts and undead reign supreme. In World 4-1 we can find the Regenerator Ring, which can constantly restore our health, as well as a very interesting and unique NPC with whom we can trade. Finally, this is the Arkstone of the Chieftain. It will send us to the Valley of Defilement. It is a wretched place of pestilence and disease. There is no reason for us to go there now, and in fact, I would have preferred if we never had to go there. Ultimately, it depends on you where you start from. All of the options are viable. Personally, I believe that as the royalty class, it would be best if we continue with World 1-2. It will be very easy to complete the level and we'll get an obscene amount of souls while doing so, which we can then use to increase our stats and make the other levels that much easier to beat. I was just making sure we had the Thief's Ring equipped. Now we need to go down this long hall, and in front of us will be several hoplites. There are only a few of them, so it's best if we use the Turpentine to enchant our scimitar again and go ahead and slash them. The duration of the Turpentine should be enough to kill them all. Obviously, it would be best if we can hit them from behind, but that's not always possible. I think these are the last 2 we need to kill. Well, we didn't really need to kill them, but yeah. Okay, now let's collect the items in this room. Throwing knives, nice. They are a consumable similar to the firebombs. They're a pretty decent backup weapon, in case we need to conserve our MP. Also, it looks like we've missed a hoplite. Let's finish searching this place for items. Just some half-moon grass. Okay. Now let's see where hugging the left wall of this room will lead us. There is another item over there, and a familiar figure.
Hello? You yonder! Over here! It's me, Ostrava! Look at me. Again surrounded by evil warriors. Could you, perhaps, help me one last time? Clear out the soldiers at the far end of this passage, if it pleases you. The Lord's Path, just down yonder, has degenerated into a feeding ground for flying dragons. Have your wits about you.
Yeah, well, if you can't deal with a few draglings, buddy, I'm not sure you should be continuing that quest of yours. So, we need to go save Strava again. We'll first have to find a way to get to him though. The only exit out of this room is up ahead. So let's go out in the open and see where we are. Okay, this is another bridge we need to cross. I wonder if that red drake is still flying around. Looks like he is. This time we'll have to run after him when he starts belching fire. If we're quick enough, we should be able to get to the guard tower before he makes his next fire run. It goes without saying, we can't afford to pick up any of the items. Okay, we're safe now. Let's climb the tower and see if there's anything interesting up there. Looks like we can also go downstairs as well. But let's stick to the plan and check what's up top first. Another Boletarian soldier. And a couple of crossbowmen. We shouldn't waste our spells on them. The scimitar will be plenty. Okay, now let's see what are these items. A wooden catalyst. This one is actually more powerful than the silver catalyst we have currently equipped, but it does not offer the 20% bonus to max MP, so I'll just stick with my current one. The difference in attack power is negligible. The red drake keeps making fire runs. This actually gives me an idea, but I'll come back to that later. Let's see what's below the guard tower. We have a long tunnel here. Looks like it runs through the entirety of the bridge. Let's go this way first. There are some wooden barricades in front of us and a dragling waiting for an ambush. Moving on. Another wooden barricade, and this time it's a crossbowman. Actually, it's quite a few of them. 2 in front and 2 more in the back. Okay, nice. I don't think there are any more in the immediate vicinity. Evidently, I was wrong. Here's a couple more. Let's see what the item is, and then continue. Ring of Gash Resistance. What it does is, it increases our resistance to bleeding. Very few enemies cause bleeding, but it could potentially be useful against them.
Thanks to you, I can now forge ahead. This is a token of my gratitude. Please accept it.
Nice! We got some Dark Moon Grass for saving Strava. This consumable will not only fully heal us, but also cure us of any status ailment.
Why on earth? How did all of this happen? Father!
What does Strava's father have to do with all of this? As far as we know, it was King Allant who is responsible for this. Interesting. Let's go to the other end of this tunnel now. Okay, this is where we entered the tunnel. Here's another dragling trying to ambush us. And there is an item up ahead. Wow, nearly got hit by this one. He was quite eager. Meh, it was just an unknown hero, so... Okay, so this next part is a bit tricky. Up ahead is a pack of rats. They're not as difficult to fight as the dogs, but could still potentially kill us. But since we're a mage, we can easily deal with them from a distance. As long as we have the Thief's Ring equipped and lock on to them from maximum distance, we'll be able to kill them one by one with our soul arrow. Okay, perfect. Now we can continue and see what's at the end of the tunnel. Another item and another crossbow man. Oh, it's the Dragling merchant again. Let's check if he has anything useful.
Ah, we meet again. Fancy that. Hope you find something that suits you.
The only item that may be of interest to us is the boats. We won't need them since we have the fragrant ring, but if you've chosen another class, you might need to buy some boats for what we're about to do in a minute.
Hard times, eh? I'm sure you'll turn things around.
Okay, now let's leave the merchant and exit the tunnel. We're going back the way we came from. The staircase leads to another guard tower. We're actually supposed to use the tunnel to get here, since we won't be able to cross the bridge because of the red drake. We'll do something else though. We need to go back on top of the first guard tower. Here's the red drake still doing his fire runs on the same patch of the bridge. We're going to abuse this and kill him. All we need to do is stand right over here, lock onto him when he's close, and then use the soul arrow spell. Actually managing to hit him is a bit tricky, since we have to start casting the spell before he's in range of our lock-on. Although it's not technically necessary to use the lock-on, it's very difficult to aim without it. So the sequence is going to be wait until the drake starts spewing fire, cast the spell, lock onto him, and then release the lock-on after the spell hits and reset our position. It's going to take a few minutes, so I'll most likely just jump cut to the end. Oh, and one more thing. If we're too close to the edge, we can take fire damage. It's not too bad, it won't one-shot us, but we may have to heal afterwards if we're not careful. Okay, we should be just about done. Only 1 or 2 more spells should be enough. I guess we'll need 1 more. Oh, here it is. It was just delayed. We not only got nearly 8,000 souls, but also the small flame-scale demon soul. Unlike most other demon souls, this one doesn't have any other use, so we can just consume it and receive an additional 10,000 souls. I'll switch to the crossbow for a while, to give the fragrant ring some time to restore my MP. We can now walk freely on the bridge and gather any of the loot that's left there. The winged spear is a pretty great melee weapon. It's obviously got good reach, but the most useful aspect is that you can attack with it while having your shield up. But we mostly need it because we'll have to upgrade it when we are wrapping up the weapon achievements. We can now go ahead and continue crossing the bridge towards the second guard tower. One unfortunate consequence of having killed the drake is that we'll have to deal with all these enemies on the bridge ourselves. Which is why I had the crossbow equipped. Let's bait them into breaking the barricade. Good. It's very annoying using the crossbow. It locks you into place before and after firing the bolt. Obviously, we're too fat to squeeze past this broken cart. Let's continue killing off the draglings. We're nearly out of boats, but we managed to restore our MP a bit. The spiked shield is an interesting item. It works as a shield, but can also be used as a weapon. It does decent slashing damage. The stat requirements are somewhat high though, so we'll never be able to use it. Not that we would need to. Damn, it's a pity we missed that last boat, but we'll need to switch back to the catalyst anyway. Okay, now let's heal up a bit and continue. I guess I should also switch back from the crossbow to the scimitar. Wow, there's 4 crossbowmen in front of us. I'll try backstabbing them. Should be doable. Move, dude. Thank you. Forgot to switch to the scimitar. Okay, well, a couple of hiccups, but overall, we're doing pretty good. So this is the second guard tower. We've already been downstairs, so let's check up top. There are a couple of crossbowmen waiting in ambush just above the stairs. Let's kill them and see what the item on the ground is. Compound short bow and some arrows, good. We can't use it because it has a strength requirement of 12. Well, it shows in the description as 18, but since we have to two-hand it, it's actually 12. But we only need it so we can upgrade it anyway. We're done here, so let's go through the fog gate. This is the last section of the bridge we need to cross before we reach the main gate of the inner castle. There are mostly draglings here, so we'll just use our scimitar and let our MP regenerate a bit more. Actually, this reminds me, I haven't really talked about the old spice we picked up in the previous video. It is a consumable that restores MP. Old spice restores 100 MP, while the fresh spice restores 50. As of right now, they are relatively rare, so we should try to conserve them and only use them during a boss fight. We have the fragrant ring, so at any point we can just leave the game for a bit while our MP regenerates. Okay, we've reached the main gate. It is heavily guarded with crossbowmen, both on the bridge as well as up in the ramparts. There are also a couple of blue-eye knights on the bridge behind the crossbowmen, so we can't just rush behind them, which also means we'll have to keep dodging the bolts from the soldiers above us. Okay, that went pretty well. We just need to kill one more blue-eye knight. The easiest way to kill the sword and shield knights is to run up to them and bait them into attacking. Then dodge backwards and immediately start casting the soul arrow. They won't be able to bring back their shield up in time to protect themselves. Nice. Let's see what item he dropped. Some more half-moon grass, good. In front of us is the last fog gate in the level. Before we go through it, though, there are a couple more things we need to do. This door is currently locked, but try to remember it, since we'll get back to it in the future. In the distant future. Now, I'm walking slowly up these stairs to try to not spook the crystal lizard that's in the room upstairs. Those critters drop rare upgrade materials, and it's a good idea to try to kill all that you come across. Once they sense you, they'll start running away from you and eventually teleport. So it's sometimes pretty difficult to kill them. Their loot is also somewhat random, so you can't really rely on them for the upgrade materials too much. Let's continue climbing up the stairs and deal with the crossbowman that caused us so much problems when we were fighting on the bridge. Okay, now let's heal up a bit and then loot the corpses here. We're almost done with this level. The only thing left is the boss fight. I don't think I've mentioned this before. The Royal Lotus cures poison. Poison is not a particularly bad affliction, to be honest. There are much worse things than that. But it's still nice to have items that can cure us from it. Now let's go back to the bridge and see if we haven't missed any items. No, it looks like we've picked up everything. Okay, it's finally time to go through the boss fog gate. Don't be fooled by its size. The Tower Knight is incredibly easy to kill by ranged attacks. Might even be the easiest boss to kill. All we have to do is just run past him and up these stairs. We can ignore this crossbowman and just go right. Now we should get rid of these soldiers by either pushing them off their platforms or outright killing them. Couldn't quite make him fall off. Okay, perfect. We're ready now. Let's go back to the middle platform and stand on the edge. What we need to do is lock onto the Tower Knight, wait for him to start casting his ranged attack, cast a soul arrow, and then do a backwards dodge roll. He'll just keep using his ranged attack and won't move from this spot. The other crossbowman also won't be able to reach us and we'll just keep standing there. All we need to do now is to just keep repeating this cycle until he's dead. Even if he manages to hit us, he can't one-shot us, so don't worry about it and just heal up if that happens. The Tower Knight is the corrupted form of Alfred, one of the elite knights serving King Allant. He was known for his massive size, that referred to him as a tower. When Allant unleashed the demons across Boletaria, Alfred stood guard of the palace. At some point, Alfred was corrupted and turned into a demon. By the way, he's also like the prototype for the Iron Golem boss in Dark Souls. If we were playing as a melee class, we could just attack his feet, which would cause him to stagger and fall down. Okay, we just need a couple more shots. And that's it. We'll get about 8,500 souls for defeating the boss, as well as a couple hundred from the death of its adds. They'll die as soon as we kill him, no need to go after them. And of course, we've also unlocked the Tower Knight trophy. Now let's go ahead and loot all the corpses, and then go down to the Tower Knight Arkstone to pick up the Iron Demon Soul. Looks like these ones didn't drop anything, so all that's left are the ones in the courtyard. Actually, I'm not certain if the crossbowman killed when the demon dies can drop anything. In any case, we're done here. As I promised you, it was a very easy level that netted us a ton of souls. Over 28,000 if we include the small flame scale demon soul. Now that we have the Iron Demon Soul, we can go back to the Nexus. Let's first go to Stockpile Thomas and store the items we don't need to carry with us.
Thank goodness you are safe. I was worried sick about you.
Okay, I think that was everything. Now let's talk about a very important game mechanic. I've already mentioned it before, but I'll give you a more detailed explanation now. I'm talking about world tendency. It is a representation of the... well, I'd like to think of it as the demonic influence in the world. Certain actions will change the world tendency, and once it reaches certain points, it will make the world either easier or more difficult. For example, white world tendency will decrease enemies' stats and increase our attack power while in soul form. On the other hand, Black World Tendency will increase enemies' stats, but it will also increase the drop rates of items. It will also cause certain very powerful enemies to appear. Killing bosses increases the world tendency towards white, while dying in physical form decreases it and brings it towards black. Dying in soul form does not change the world tendency. The world tendency can max out at plus 200, which is called pure white world tendency, and bottom out at minus 200, which is called pure black world tendency. Manipulating world tendency is very important since it will make certain events occur. We've killed the Phalanx Demon, the Red Drake and the Tower Knight, so that means we've increased the world tendency in World 1 with 180 points. This brings World 1 into pure white world tendency. Because of that, I will now revisit the first level and pick up a few previously unreachable items. At first, it doesn't look like much anything has changed, but if we go over here and to the left, we'll see a staircase going down. The door at the bottom is only opened in pure white and pure black world tendency. In this little side area, called the Execution Ground, we'll find our first Black Phantoms. They are a very powerful variant of an enemy type. In this case, we'll fight several Black Phantom Draglings. Even though their stats have received a huge buff, they're still Draglings, so we can easily backstab them. Two backstabs is all it takes. Okay, good. Now, there's a few items on the ground over there, but there's also a crystal lizard, so let's move carefully and try to get him. Perfect, he can't escape us now. Good, now let's pick up all of the items and then go up the hill. Some more Black Phantom Draglings will spawn. When the first batch spawns, stop moving and wait for them to come to you. If you continue going up the hill, a few more will spawn, making the fight unnecessarily difficult. Okay, I'm having some difficulties backstabbing this one. There we go, finally! There's also one more that we pushed down the hill. Great! Now let's continue and cause the other batch to spawn as well. This time it's 3 of them, so we will again kill the first one with the soul arrow. Nice, he jumped into the perfect place for a backstab. Okay, we're done with the Black Phantom Draglings in the Execution Ground. Let's pick up the items they've dropped and continue towards a small building. There is a doorway here and we will need to enter it and then quickly go back outside.
I have you now, wretched traitor to the king. I, Meralda, shall show you no mercy.
This is Mirauda. She is King Allant's executioner. Before the colorless fog appeared, she was known throughout Boletaria for her lunacy and beautiful voice. She wields an axe especially designed to decapitate foes in one strike. She commands the black phantoms of those she had executed, and they protect the execution grounds. She's quite powerful, defeating and imprisoning the witch Yuria, and she may have even killed Valerfax. Just as a reminder, Valerfax was mentioned in the intro. I'll tell you why it is believed she killed him in a bit. Let's talk about the fight now. Mirauda is very fast, her axe has quite the reach, and she is capable of dodge rolling, which makes her a pretty difficult opponent for a mage like us. Not only that, but she has good magic resistance, so using our soul arrow is not very efficient. Our best bet is to just keep backstabbing her. It's pretty difficult, I'm not doing particularly great myself, but it is possible to kill her. Obviously, a melee class would have a much easier time in this particular fight, but there are also other ways we can kill her. If you're having difficulties, don't worry about it, just come back later, when you're stronger. It's not necessary to kill her at this point. I'm just doing it since it's more convenient, and I have the confidence I'll be able to do it. That being said, I'm really making quite a few mistakes, so let's concentrate on the fight and finish her off.
Foolish traitor to the king!
Good. Sorry about that fight, I certainly could have handled it better. But the important thing is, we didn't die. We also got her binded armor set as well as the Master's Ring. To be honest, I'm not really sure what the ring does, except it may be useful for melee characters. Also, while on the topic of rings, I just equipped the Ring of Herculean Strength. We'll have to pick up a very heavy armor set in just a bit, and there's no way we'll be able to carry it if it wasn't for the ring. The armor set is down this ladder, but instead of going straight down, I'll use these wooden beams. There is a very rare soul we can pick up from one of them. Be careful, however, since they're incredibly slippery. That was the soul, and we can now continue dropping down onto the beams. This one is the most difficult drop. Okay, we barely didn't miss it. We're fine now. We can just drop onto the armor set from here. This is the Brushwood armor set. According to its description, this old armor was long ago held by the Boletarian royal family. It is excellent for staving off flame. Recently, Bjor of the Twin Fangs has been known for wearing it. Its tremendous heaviness greatly impedes stamina regeneration. The armor set being here among the corpses of people executed by Mirauda is the reason why it is believed that Valerfax was killed by her. He is the other member of the Twin Fangs, so it makes sense that he also uses the same armor as Bjor. But this is of course pure speculation. We don't know what really happened to him. But this theory makes a lot of sense and is the best explanation we have. Okay, we're done with this part of the level. We will eventually have to come back here, but it will be far off in the future. However, there is one more thing we need to do while we're in the level. We should go visit the Drake's Nest. Now that the world is in pure white tendency, the drakes will be gone. Well, we already killed the red drake, but the blue drake will be gone as well. It will take a while until we reach the nest, so I'll probably just fast forward this next part. Right, so we finally reached the path to the nest. All we need to do is just go over there and pick up all the items on the ground. If we weren't in pure white world tendency, the drakes would be there right now. Or at least the blue drake would. And it would have been very difficult gathering the items. The most important items are this purple flame shield, the ring of flame resistance and the ring of great strength. The first two items can increase our flame resistance and the third one increases our equip burden. The ring of great strength has an interesting description. A ring given to King Allant's twin fangs. This further points to Valarfax being killed in this world. Well, we've done everything we needed to do during this revisit of World 1-1. We can now just run back to the Arkstone and return to the Nexus. As usual, we should first visit Stockpile Thomas to store our stuff. This time we really have a lot of things we need to
I
store.
was worried sick about you.
Good, we can now go talk with the Maiden in Black and spend our souls to upgrade our stats. Oh yeah, and we should also switch back to the Thief's Ring.
Thou seekest soul power, dost thou not? Then touch the demon inside me.
This time I want to increase our intelligence, so we'll have a bit more MP and another spell slot. And I'll invest the rest in magic.
Drawn from its vessel. Let strength be granted so the world might be mended. So the world might be mended.
Okay, perfect. We're done with upgrading our stats for now. Actually, now that I think about it, we've picked up quite a lot of itemized souls as well. I mean, I'm not touching the boss souls, but the others? Might as well use them and increase our magic stat a bit more. So, unfortunately, there is no way to use multiple souls at once in the PS3 version of Demon Souls. So the fastest way to consume them would be by placing them in a quick use slot and then just keep pressing the square button. And of course, since the small flame scale demon soul is just one, we can use it directly from the item menu. Nice, now let's start spamming the square button. I'll probably fast forward this part as well. Good, now we can add a few more points into magic.
Thou seekest soul power, dost thou not? Then touch the demon inside me. Soul of the mind, key to life's ether. Soul of the lost, withdrawn from its vessel.
Perfect. The next level should be that much easier thanks to all the souls we collected in World 1-2.
Strength help the world be mended.
I think this is a good place to end the episode. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, please consider pressing the like button and subscribing to my channel. It will help me a lot and encourage me to bring more content for you guys. I'm releasing new videos daily, so hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow, when we'll continue our journey through the world of Demon Souls.